Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today I have something very interesting for you, and this is an interview or a conversation, I guess, with Thomas Heaton. He is one of my absolute favorites photographers online. He's got a massive YouTube channel, and I've met him at the photography show in Birmingham where he was speaking. Both his speech at the photography show and my conversation with him was very interesting. I learned a lot, and I managed to get to know him a little better, which is always a plus. He is one of these creators that just make things because he loves it, and this is definitely something you can pick up from his channel, from his creativity, from his videos and from his photos. So I definitely recommend checking him out and giving him a subscribe if you haven't already. So today I have half of the conversation for you because it's a very long video. It's over 40 minutes. So today only half, and next week another half. So enjoy. Hi everybody, we are sitting here with Tom Heaton. He's one of the creators that I follow for quite a while now, and I've learned so much from Tom. Obviously you have no way of knowing this, but you've basically changed how I photograph.
Oh really? Wow.
Some of your work is the reason for me to go out and actually do landscape photography and look for places that normally I wouldn't see. So first of all, let's start from whatever everyone wants to hear. What do you shoot with?
At the minute, well, you know, I have a few cameras. So my main camera, what I would call my main camera, is a Nikon Z8 because it's perfect for everything, basically. It's a fantastic landscape camera. It's a fantastic wildlife camera. It's got a lot of tech in it. The downsides with the Z8 is big and heavy. I wish it was smaller, but that's just me. But I also shoot with some old film cameras. I have a Hasselblad XPan, a Hasselblad 501cm, and a Fujifilm GFX, which is this giant 120 panoramic film camera, which is beautiful. So my main camera, Z8, but then I'll just take anything.
So you switched from, I believe, Z7?
Z7 Mark II.
Mark II, yes, that's it. So how do you find the switch? Is it better, worse?
So the Z7 II and the Z8 are almost identical in terms of image quality. There's no difference. You can't tell the difference between. But the main thing is the Z8 has a sensor guard. So when you switch lenses, there's a curtain that covers the sensor. When you're out in the field, always changing lenses. That's amazing. And the autofocus of the Z8 is far superior to the Z7 II, which can miss and is not as reliable, not as fast. So for wildlife, the Z7 II is not as good. But the Z7 II, my God, it's like this big. You can fit it in your pocket. So if you're going hiking or traveling and you want a high quality camera that is just tiny,
that's like 45 megapixels, the Z7?
45, 46, something like that, yeah.
And what's the 8?
It's the same.
Okay, cool, yeah. I think Z8 has got the guts from Z9, right? Yeah, so it's an amazing camera. I'm looking forward to grabbing one for myself. But I know from your videos that you've tried like proper monsters, like Hasselblads and Fujifilms with like 100 megapixels. Why do you go back to what you shoot with on a daily basis?
I've tried those high megapixel medium format cameras and they are beautiful. They are, but they're not versatile enough. Like the Fujifilm GFX cameras, which are, I think, still one of the best cameras on the market. You can't get long lenses for them. So you can't shoot anything above 200mm equivalent, there or thereabouts, unless you spend a lot of money and then you've got this giant lens. Whereas with a smaller sort of full frame camera, I shoot a lot of landscapes with the 100 to 400. And that lens is probably my most used lens. You can shoot a lot of long lens landscapes and wildlife. So with the medium format cameras, you just haven't got that reach. And I realized that I was missing out on so many opportunities because I couldn't pull those images from far away in. So there's the sort of smaller full frame cameras, just lens selection.
Do you think the monsters 100 megapixels ones do they have a chance of kind of catching up in terms of being able to digitally zoom in, because you get like twice more the resolution?
That is an option. you can always crop in, but who wants to do that? You know what I mean? If you've got a 100 megapixel sensor, you want to use it. So no, for me that cropping should never be like, you know, the first option.
Yeah. So while we are at the reach and lenses, what lens do you use the most?
100 to 400, I would say, or the 24 to 70.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of narrow. I would expect it to be a bit wider for. I suppose you do a lot of kind of minimalist shots.
Yeah, right, exactly. When you live in a busy landscape, or when you're working in a busy landscape, it helps so much to be able to just isolate certain areas of the landscape to get rid of all that chaos. So yeah, I mean, I have a 14 to 30, and I hardly ever use it because it's so wide. I mean, it does have its uses, but for the most part, just being able to dissect the landscape with a longer lens is such a valuable thing to be able to do.
I remember the joy you've had from borrowing a 40mm, was it, from someone on a location? So how did you find switching from something really long to suddenly something super wide?
That's pretty easy. You have an image that you want to take, and then you get the tool for the job. So, you know, you've got, as your experience grows, you start to learn to see in focal lengths.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a great thing I'm looking at over there, 200mm. And then, oh, this is cool, but so is that, 14mm. So, yeah, it just comes with experience.
You learn to judge the distance, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So what would make you switch to something else? Have you ever thought of switching?
Yeah, I have no loyalties. So I will switch to the best tool for the job. Like, I have a Fuji X-T3, which I've converted to infrared now. Or even a Fuji X-T4. If I'm going on a long hike, right, I'm not taking the Z8. No, it's too big. So I'll just grab another camera. I'm really interested in the Fuji. It's the X Pro 6, I think it is. I can't remember. Little Fuji that's just come out. Like, these small cameras really appeal to me. So we'll take whatever cameras the best for the job, or maybe I'll fancy shooting some film, because film gives the photographers so many restrictions that it actually increases your creativity. So
yeah, I really like that approach, because I teach photography myself, and I always say to my students that the camera is just a tool, as you mentioned, and you want to have something that you can afford at the time, obviously. But also, I always kind of preach this kind of approach of photography that you start from something that limits you in some way, because you want to learn how to progress and what you want from the next camera. So was this kind of your journey as well? Did you start from like something really weak, let's call it, and then moved on higher as you got to the point of knowing that this is actually limiting you right now?
No, I don't think so. No.
So you got to the point of where you are from I just know what I need and this is what I'm getting?
Well, it's all about money.
I suppose, yeah, that's true.
Get what you can afford. So when I started out, I had no money, so you buy a second-hand older model camera. It does a great job. I think it's natural for photographers to be looking at all the other gear. It's like cars, right? You look at nice cars, I really want that car. So I really want that camera. So then when you progress as a photographer, you can then justify spending more money on some better gear. And yeah, it's for me, I think it's about getting the best you can afford, because people say that gear doesn't matter, but that's not true. Gear definitely matters, especially when it comes to lenses. It doesn't really affect the creative side of your photography. You're still going to shoot what you're going to shoot, but in terms of the final rendering of the image. So it's always a case of I want the best that I can afford that also does the job. You know, that's why I don't own a phase 1. You know, they're like 50 grand.
Yeah.
Like, too much money. Return on investment's not there. It's a beautiful camera. Image quality is amazing, but not 50 grand.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you still remember what was your first camera? Do you still have it?
Oh, my first camera was a Canon 350D.
Okay.
Which was like this little, it was Canon's. Actually, I think it was one of the first digital cameras that was kind of accessible to consumers. So it was below £1,000. It was like £900 with a kit lens, and all the other digital cameras before that, more or less, were like super expensive. So it was a crop sensor, tiny little, like 4 megapixel or 8 megapixel camera, I can't remember, and it was great. You know, it was fantastic to be able to just have this camera and go out and shoot images and get that instant feedback from the digital screen on the back, because I was shooting film before then but never owned the camera. I was just using film cameras that my college had. So yeah, Canon 350D, or the Canon Rebel, which is what it was called in America.
Yeah, what a journey.
But and I don't have it because I sold it to buy the next camera, and then so on and so forth.
We're going to move away from cameras a little bit. Can you tell me, well, still tech-wise, apart from cameras and lenses, what is the next most important part of your kind of equipment on your travels?
Good clothing. You've got to be comfortable. Good footwear, good rain protection, because if you're wet and uncomfortable, you're not really going to do much photography, because all you're going to be thinking about is getting back into the warm, dry, the nice dry hotel or something. So yeah, actually clothing is probably overlooked.
Why landscape photography?
Because it's an excuse to get out, right? So before I really had a camera, before I was really into photography, I wanted to go out and explore whatever, woods, mountains, but really it just felt a bit pointless. It was like, well, what's the point? What's the point in going and exploring? I won't find anything. But as soon as you've got a camera in your hand, it feels like everything has purpose. So landscape photography just means you really, really get to immerse yourself in being in great outdoors. And it's just nice, you get away from people, you get to see places, you get to be creative. It's good for fitness as well. You do a lot of walking. Great for travel, because you can travel around the world. You get to see places that not many people would want to see.
You are a connoisseur of minimalistic photography. What do you think is the one kind of thing that pulls people towards these kind of photos? The whole art of it that I see in your videos is to pull out this one kind of selected part of the whole landscape to choose and show to the viewer. What do you think pulls people towards it?
The problem, certainly in this country, in the UK, a lot of the landscapes are very busy. There's lots of, there's not many open spaces. It's not like, the plains of Africa or anything. We don't have deserts. We don't have wide open spaces, generally speaking. So the challenge of trying to create images with that aesthetic, images that feel peaceful and empty and calming, it's a difficult thing to do, but it's very, very satisfying to do. And difficulty with photography in this country, landscapes, is it's not necessarily about what you're photographing, it's more about what you're not photographing. So choosing what to exclude from your images, and the more you do that, the more you exclude, until you exclude everything, and then all you have left is just one or two geometric shapes and lines. And it's a really zen way to approach photography. It's very relaxing. It's very satisfying. So yeah, I think that's why people are drawn to it, because it's a bit different as well, and it's abstract. And I think people like to shoot abstract photography, so that it's not always so obvious what everybody's looking at.
Yeah, I like to explore the shapes, the textures, and whatever you see in front of you, you can limit to just one tiny bit that you want to show. So that's definitely great. Have you tried any different types of photography?
Yeah, I was doing some street photography this morning with a Polaroid camera. I like wildlife photography. Street photography is something I would like to do more of, but not really people, just more urban scenes, I would say. Yeah, so it's all I'm interested in. Yeah, all that kind of photography. Anything creative, anything where you have to see something. If that makes sense. Like there's a moment, and you've got to and you see things that other people don't see. And I think you get that a lot with street and urban photography.
Do you feel obligated to show a landscape and minimalistic photographs on your channel because people expect it, or do you shoot it because it's your passion? No,
I shoot it because I enjoy shooting it, and of course I've built an audience around that, so it'd be quite risky for me to turn heel and do something completely different. But that's not to say I don't. I've released street photography on I've done street photography on my channel. I shot a Hasselblad XPan in Hamburg in Germany, which was all street photography. My video that's going out this Wednesday is street photography. My previous 3 video series I shot in Mongolia was all wildlife photography. done gear reviews about video cameras, so I do mix it up. But ultimately, it'll always be landscape photography because that's what I enjoy the most. That's my escapism.
With the recent rise of the analog photography, analog cameras, do you see them kind of coming back like in the old days?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah? I mean, so many people I meet who leave digital behind and just go and shoot film because there's something so rewarding, like so rewarding about it. Like you shoot a good image on a Nikon Z8 and it's a nice feeling. You shoot a good image on a film camera, oh my god, you don't have that instant gratification. You have to wait and you have to use all of your skills because there's very limited processing. There's no built-in screen so you can get your exposure right. You have to meter and understand what's happening with the light and the tones and how that will react with your film. The focusing's tricky, composition has to be perfect. So yeah, it challenges the photographer, so it's immensely satisfying. And I think more people are realizing that and yeah, doing it purely for a mindful experience, shall we say.
I find myself being very, very selective when I shoot film. I know it sounds silly, but one roll of film can last me for like a month.
Yeah.
While on my Nikon Z6 Mark II, I can shoot 10,000 photos in a day. Is this the case with you? Do you like walk around with the same roll of film for a while, or do you prefer to develop them as quickly as possible?
It's a bit tricky for me. Typically, I will want to shoot an entire roll in one session, just so I can get it developed.
Same day?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
same day, same trip. So if I'm away for a week, I want to make sure that by the end of it, there's no film left over in the camera. But that's different though because I make YouTube videos, so I kind of need those images for the videos. So, but I can see why people are selective because it's expensive, and typically with film you don't shoot doubles, or you typically take maybe 1 or 2 exposures per scene, so you're very, very careful with what you shoot, which is good. It's a good thing. Yeah, so I can see why people would stretch out a roll to last like months.
I feel like I learn so much more with every photo I take on film compared to digital, because I have to think about everything in the photo every single time, because it's, let's say, 1 chance to take it, maybe 2, as you said. But yes, it's absolutely a completely different experience, isn't it?
You can't manipulate them as easily as digital images, not without losing quality. Yes, that's good.
That is all for today. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget that there is still a second part of this interview coming. It's going to be available next week, so don't miss this, and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment, leave a like, all this good stuff. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you soon and take care.